Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's episode of Late Night Q&A with ZodWriter. With me tonight, I have the honor and the privilege of welcoming the Savage Bat to the panel tonight. What's up, brother?
Thank you, mate. Thank you, ZodWriter. That's brilliant. Thank you for the invitation. I've been looking forward to this.
Oh man, it's awesome that you're here, man. I'm so excited. I've been pretty hyped up about this too. I was pretty busy today, and I wanted to make sure I got everything together in time to be able to come in here and have a great chat with you. I
Yeah.
mean, you've been part of hashtag release the Snyder Cut with me since the beginning, man. You've been there since the start of it, since the inception, and now here we are once again doing our thing with hashtag restore the Snyderverse. Man, how does it feel? And honestly, what was your inspiration, man, to get you to finally come up and decide to start your own channel and start talking about all this great stuff, bro?
Well, as you know, I've been doing the sort of Facebook side of it for years. Before Release the Snyder Cut was even a thing, like birth of the Snyderverse fandom type thing. And kind of life got in the way and stuff. I actually started planning to do a YouTube channel back in 2015, not long before Batman vs Superman came out. But I thought, I've seen a lot of videos online of people kind of sort of trying to use cheat tricks and stuff, and I thought I'd get the right stuff, get prepared properly, and and give it a proper shot. A lot of planning went into it, and a lot of procrastinating as well. I kept putting it off and putting it off, and one day I managed to muster up the equipment and everything, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go for it, and it's the best move I ever made.
I'm telling you, man, you have such a great YouTube channel,
Oh,
and you
thank you.
are you are just blowing things up right now, and speaking truth 100% of the time, and that's one of the things that drew me to you instantly when I noticed how you come out there and you do a lot of it where you're very real and you just tell it like it is, and nobody appreciates that more than I do, because
Yeah,
I'm here to tell you there's nothing that I hate more than fakeness and people
yeah,
pretending to support a cause, or pretending to be a part of something and really not be there for it, and just be all
yeah.
about whatever fake agenda they may have going on. And
Clicks and clout, I call it.
yeah, clicks and cloud. That is 100% true. Listen,
Yeah.
I mean, we know a lot of people. Okay, we
Yeah,
know a lot
yeah,
of people that we saw, fall by the wayside,
yeah,
and show their true colors as
yeah,
we got closer and closer to the Snyder Cut getting released, and now we've seen it literally come full circle with
yeah.
Restore the Snyderverse, with the way these
It's
people
history.
have basically, for lack of a better term, these people are literally showing their asses and have
Yeah,
essentially become uh, pretty much worse than some of the naysayers in the move on crowd.
yeah,
Because right now, because I got you here, I'm not even talking about those people. I'm talking about people that claim to be part of the movement and
yeah,
claim to be there for the same reason we are,
yeah,
and they're not. They're there for their clout. They're there for their 15 minutes of fame. They're there to
yeah,
use Zack Snyder and the movement for
yeah.
whatever they can grift out of it, and they don't care. And I feel like,
No, they
and
don't
that's
give.
why
They
I
don't
was
care.
excited to have you, because I mean, because there's nobody I feel like better than you and I to, at this point, hold the mirror up to these people, because we know that they're not there for the right reasons.
Yeah,
They were
we've got
never
we've
there for the right reasons. It's
no,
ridiculous.
we've got fake radar. You know that. It's
Oh,
like
absolutely. Absolutely. I don't understand it at all. And I've tried to understand what makes people pretend to be supportive and really not be supportive. And
Nah.
I look at people who have actually had YouTube channels where they've actually had the honor and privilege to actually be able to talk to Zack Snyder himself.
Yeah.
They have actually, and in some cases, multiple times.
Yeah.
And these same people will go around and actually uh, badmouth Zach, crap
Yeah.
all over the movement. And as you and
Yeah.
I know, these people were doing that.
We don't even have to say their names. Everyone knows who we're
Well,
talking
everyone
about.
knows who we're talking about. Yeah, and it's like they were doing this prior to the Snyder Cut coming out.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, when Zack Snyder's Justice League, they're all fans again. Like, it's like, oh, yeah,
It is some of the worst treachery, some of the
yeah,
worst ridiculousness I've ever seen when
it
it
is.
comes to being acting like you're a fan and being just completely just in it for yourself
Yeah,
your own whatever it is that you want, your own clout, clicks and
yeah, that's
clout.
it.
It's
Clicks and
ridiculous.
clout. Yeah, but like Dr. Dre, what's the difference between me and you? You know, the difference between us and them is all you got to do is listen to 5 minutes of them talking about the Snyderverse. You can quite clearly see that they don't know anything about
They
it.
don't know
They just
anything.
they just jumped on the bandwagon at the last minute. I embrace new members of the fandom and stuff like that. Right, yeah, I think it's great that Zack Snyder's Justice League has kicked off this new thing. But what I don't embrace is people coming in pretending to be that they've been in this from the start, and not only that, abusing veterans like ourselves on Twitter, Facebook, or whatever, on none of their YouTube channels. You know, since I've got involved in all this, I've been checking up on certain YouTube channels, bashing some friends of ours, even yourself and myself, on Twitter and Facebook. And I don't remember any of their names from back before, when the movement started. None of them. I've got a great memory, and they're all just sort of come out of nowhere, you know. It's just it used to really really annoy me, but now it just makes me laugh, because they just make fools of themselves.
Yeah, they make fools of themselves, and they try to ride the coattails of the fact that some of them actually got to meet Zack Snyder and interview him.
Yeah,
And for me, I feel like so because you got to interview the man himself,
yeah,
you should have a bigger respect
yeah. That's
for
right.
the movement. You should have a deeper understanding than even all of us, because you've actually
Yeah,
had the chance to spend, to be around Zack Snyder himself, and
yeah.
all you're basically doing is using that clout
Is
to
it?
try and boost your brand, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah. That's right.
And
Yeah.
nobody cares about anything that they actually have to say when
No.
they don't have Zach or somebody from Justice League on their
Yeah, yeah.
panels or whatever. So
Exactly.
I don't.
Exactly.
So if you don't have a brand outside of that, how can you uh, backstab Zack Snyder when you basically owe Zack Snyder for you even having a
Yeah.
platform at this point?
Yeah.
I don't get it, bro.
Really, neither do I. And Zack Snyder is such a nice guy. He must see this, sort of happening and think, God, I wish I hadn't done that interview with him.
I have to
Because he
wonder.
wouldn't say anything because he's a perfect gentleman. But we all know he's thinking, oh, God, what did I do that for?
Yeah. I mean, he's gonna let that. He's gonna let it sink in. He's gonna let it you know
Yo, what's
gestate a
up,
little
Corey?
bit, and he'll make it and he won't make the same mistake again. I mean,
No, he won't.
I don't expect to see him uh at some goofy virtual convention with a couple of I don't know. I don't expect him to be there. I don't expect him to be
No.
on uh on bourbon streams or whatever the hell you call them.
Yeah.
I don't expect him to be hanging out with the guy with the suit jacket from Hawaii. I expect him to be a little more selective when it comes to who he surrounds himself with when the next tour for like Rebel Moon and everything else that he's going to do in the future comes
Yeah.
to pass, Savage Bat. Because at this point, you know, it's like, and I mean, we don't even. I don't even think we really even need to talk about Grace Randolph because she is completely
Well, 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 well,
blown
well.
her. Yeah, she's completely ruined all her credibility, all of it.
Yeah, and do you know what? Right, when everyone really, really hated on her because her voice for a start, but I kind of sort of stuck up for her years ago. You know, when she started doing a
Me
bit of
too.
nice stuff about Zach and stuff like that, and then when she started like ripping into the fandom and things like that, I thought, what is your agenda? Like, what are you doing? Yeah, one of her comments that she said was about um, the Oscars. You know, why do you keep going on? About this. They're not even real Oscars. Do you know what I mean? Well, I think you find they're Academy Awards. So why even say these kinds of things? You know, why not say congratulations, Snyder fans? You've won Zack Snyder 2 Academy Awards. You know, things like that. And I just think to myself, what's the game she's playing? And she's just recently with the Ben Affleck stuff. Saying he's not coming back and you're delusional and all that, and then backtracking on, it seems he's had a sudden change of heart. That may be partly true, but the way she's gone about it, I just don't understand it. And when it comes to restore the Snyderverse Day, she'd just be remembered as a turncoat that left the fans behind.
Yeah, I mean, because at one point I was thinking,
Skywalker.
The great Skywalker, the Jedi. At one point I was thinking, are we at a point where Grace Randolph is one of our biggest advocates?
Yeah, I know.
And then you see what she does. It's very disturbing. And
Yeah.
she's another one. She's gotten to interview Zach. She's gotten exclusives with Zack Snyder, and I don't understand how you can get those exclusives and know how emotional and important a Restore the Snyderverse is to the fan base.
Yeah.
And completely crap all over us. And basically shill for Warner Brothers and Toby Emmerich of all people. I mean, I don't understand. See, now we know where Grace Randolph, where her sources come from. We know what she's about. We know where
the old regime.
Obviously, and it makes me sad because I really wanted to, like you, I wanted to give Grace Randolph the benefit of the doubt. I didn't have anything against Grace Randolph. I always thought, okay, she's cool.
Me neither.
She's just doing her thing. She's got her little clique that she's a part of. In the source game and whatever, and it was just like, but to be honest, I mean, Syl and Mikey blow her out of the water when it comes to getting things right. Grace is not a very reliable source.
No, multiple times she's been completely wrong and had to backtrack. And hats off, all credit to Syl and Mikey for their doing their side on the YouTube and that. Because I was doing a similar thing, not scoops. We were just working out, what had gone wrong with the Hamadaverse and stuff like that, and critically thinking, like Syl says, what's the best way that this can go forward? It came up in my memories over a year ago, I think it was 2 days ago, I was saying that these old executives will be sacked, and then they'll be gone by. I think I said 2023, which weren't far off. Most of them are gone already, and then and then Seal Mikey have actually got this. Mikey's got this inside knowledge, so he's put some actual facts behind our faith, if you like, you know, because we was just working out what the best game plan was, and telling people, things like Affleck, for instance, he'll be back for Zach. I think he sort of fell into doing that Flash thing because he wanted to do a last sort of say goodbye thing. But then it turned out that that Flash is not looking great for the future of that for many different reasons. And Ben, for instance, is a writer and a director and an actor. So he wants big money to make his own projects. And what better way to do that than play Batman again in Justice League 2, 3, and the Batfleck movie? Do you know what I mean? And it doesn't matter why I think it's because, we all know it's coming. It's just a matter of time now.
And I kind of felt like I kind of looked at it as Ben Affleck doing this Flash movie as a good thing for us because it was to show that he was still interested in the character and he was still focused on doing his version of Batman, his legacy, justice. And as you said, he would be back for Zach. And I kind of took that as a symbolic move on his part to show that he still had faith in his version of the character. I wasn't looking at the Flash from a particularly negative lens so much as I was just seeing it as a stepping stone to him eventually returning for Zack Snyder. And it seems like if we go off of what, the great Sil and Mikey have been saying, it's clear. And basically, from all the other little hints and bits and pieces that we're getting from Zach himself and various other things, we can deduce that that's exactly what is going to happen at this point.
Or Jay Olivia with the sword, with Batfleck's face in the sword and things like that, And these are all honest people. Jay Olivia, Clay Staub has been posting some really good hints lately. He done one, I think it was for Superman. Yeah, it was for Superman Day, saying about something about cooking a pot roast, and it'll taste like I can't remember exactly what he said, but everything will be back like how it was. It was the point of the post. I think kind of meaning Henry Cavill was going to be back. And it's been a long time, 9 years. Since Man of Steel, so and all these clues and Zach, Jay Olivia, and all that. They, if they really thought it was over, they would tell us and say, "Look, guys, it's time to pack it in. It's been a good fight, but it's over." But they're not, and they've got no reason to lie to us. So why would they be saying these things? You know what I mean? And it makes me laugh because all this same stuff was happening before the Snyder Cut, and some of it was the same imagery, like,
and some of it was the same people too.
So it was some of the same people. Clay Staub was doing the King Arthur stuff from Excalibur. He's been doing that again, and Jay Olivia, the way he is. He's Oliver. Sorry, I keep saying Olivia. It's Oliver. My British.
I was doing that. I was doing that too. It's Oliver, but I was kept calling him Olivia. Like it was I don't know what it is about his name, but honestly,
I think one of the Comic Cons someone called him that, and then it stuck in my mind. It never went away.
But he's been very vocal and very a very strong defender of the fan base as well. And
Yeah.
I'm thankful for that too, because I've seen him go to bat for a lot of us who are
Yeah.
more passionate and outspoken about the Snyderverse
Yeah.
than a lot of these people. And
Definitely.
I never understood it though, because we're the ones that are fighting and pushing so hard for what we want. And if it wasn't for people like us, you probably wouldn't have had it. It wouldn't have got this far.
No.
And you get what I like to call the angelic side of the fandom that
Yeah.
acts as though they are holier than thou, and they are the shining example. But when you look over at that side and you see some of the people that are there, they are
Yeah.
some of the biggest naysayers and
Yeah.
some of the biggest two-faced pieces of crap
Yeah.
on the planet
I've seen it.
when it comes to this, and we've all seen it with our own eyes.
Yeah.
I swear to God, when I saw that Stephen Colbert, when I saw him as being somebody that was being hailed as a hero in the movement, and I seen him on live streams with Zack Snyder, I nearly threw up in my mouth a little bit,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
those of us that have been there since the beginning of Release the Snyder Cut know exactly the types of shade, the types of snark, the types of completely disrespectful BS that this guy used to peddle through his rag screen rant at us, at the
Yeah.
fandom. He used to
I
throw
know.
shade at every single campaign that we would run. He would
Yeah.
have something sarcastic and rude to say. He was literally one of the biggest. Like, I don't understand how
No.
that guy got, to how some of these people
No.
basically snaked their way
And
up to Zack
if
Snyder. I'll never
honestly, if
understand.
it was people that genuinely, was fans, I'd be happy for them. But and at first, some of them I was, and then I sort of researched them. I've looked back on their past, and they never was fans in the first place. Like some of these book writers and stuff, and Screen Rant's a good example. I've done a bit of detective skills
Yeah, I
recently.
call them I call them scum rant, because
Scum Rant, yeah, they've
anything
always
that they
been,
put
yeah,
out, they've always been snarky, and
yeah.
they're always throwing shade, whether directly or indirectly. They always act like
There's
they're
always
better than
something to
everyone
it.
else. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
But
I've never understood it.
I discovered some of it's linked as well. Some of the temporary writers for Screen Rant, right, are admins of some big DC groups. And I worked out who the names are and everything. And they've been big, massive haters and advocates for hating on Zack and hating on the Snyder fandom. Even some of them I caught out was reporting some of the bigger Restore the Snyderverse Twitter accounts, like Geralt of Riviera and people like that,
I
and
gotta ask
Mercury and
you
stuff.
about I gotta ask you about him. Now,
Yeah.
do you know who he is? Are you aware of who he actually is behind that uh social media avatar? Because I make
No,
it I pride myself to get to know who all the players are. And
same, same.
back in the day, when we were doing all our campaigning for
Yeah,
Release the Snyder Cut, I knew who all the players were.
yeah,
I
yeah,
was there. You were there. You know who all the players were. We
yeah.
knew these people by name. We knew who they were. We could DM them. We could talk to them. We were all in this
Yeah,
together. We were all in this one big melting pot, right?
yeah.
But
Communicate.
but but this Geralt of Snyderverse, I don't know who he is. So
No.
I've never been able to fully get behind him, because I don't know who he is. And he's done, in my opinion, he's done some questionable things in the name of the movement.
Yeah,
So I don't follow him, and I don't really support the things that he does because I don't know him. I don't know who
No,
he
no,
is.
neither do I. I've spoken to him twice, and I kind of sort of stuck up for him when he got in. People was trying to shut his stuff down, but as far as I know, some Indian guy. I know that much. But yeah, there's a few things that he said over the year, while he's been doing this. He's been very good at rallying the troops for the Restore the Snyderverse days and building up the hashtags. But the audience probably not going to like this, but I was never for not the boycott, right? If you want to boycott something, yeah, it's your money. Do what the fuck, do what you like, yeah.
Right.
But the boycott hashtag, right, done nothing but damage this fandom.
Yeah, it
Right?
wasn't good.
And
I agree. I agree.
I said it from the start, right, yeah, and I got grilled by all the loads of the Snyder fandom over it. I even banned it in my group, Restore the Snyderverse, the Snyder Knights, which caused a massive trouble. I lost thousands of members over it. I said, I don't care. I said, in the future, this is going to damage us. We're going in a peaceful way. We're asking for release the Snyder Cut, right? Yeah, we got it, right? Yeah. If we do the same, we've released the Ayer Cut, restore the Snyderverse, make the Batfleck movie, and Henry Cavill. We start adding boycott Warner Brothers, a threat basically. It's not going to go nowhere.
Right. If you choose to individually not support something, that's completely up to everybody. Again,
that's
on
individually
an individual
up to
level,
you. Yeah.
that's fine.
That's fine. I'm fine with that.
To call for a massive boycott that literally does nothing. The only way that a boycott impacts a company like Warner Brothers at that point, if you literally have millions of people do it so that it can impact them financially, that's the only way it works. Otherwise, it's just a statement, and it's not a very good one. Like you said, it makes the movement.
No, and actions speak louder than words. If you really want to boycott it, do it in quiet. Yeah, don't pay for the stuff you don't like. Yeah, like any normal human being, like any movie, not even Zack Snyder related. If I don't like something, right, yeah, I won't buy it. Simple as that. DC movies are they've got no special, thing for me when it comes to things like that because, as you know, some of the DCEU movies, I definitely won't pay for. Not because I want to boycott them, just because they're crap.
I mean, you and I, okay, we could almost look at it that. I've basically, I would say that I've learned the wrong lessons from all these clout chasers over the years, because when I look at them and the way they sucked up and snaked up to get close to Zack Snyder, and then they turn around and backstab him and speak counter to everything that we've been trying to do as a movement, it makes me feel like they're basically, these types of clout chasers belong in Hollywood because they're playing that same kind of game where I'll kiss your butt when it's convenient for me, and then when you're no longer useful to me and I've gotten all the clout that I can get off of you, I'll backstab you. And not only that, I'll backstab you while I'm getting the clout from you. Because, you got this one guy that on the one hand, he'll have Zack Snyder on with him and he'll talk all, like he's buddy with Zack, and he'll act like he knows. And then he'll go out the very next day, the very next stream that he does when he's not with Zack, he'll say something to stifle the movement, or he'll say something negative about the Snyderverse, or he'll get somebody like Sean O'Connell on his podcast, who we know is completely against Zack Snyder in the movement at this point. I don't understand.
But we all smelt that before his book even came out.
Oh my God, yes.
Because the certain comments and stuff, and even after, there was one comment he made, I think it was about the Flash, Aquaman, and Shazam 2, saying, well, isn't this a Snyderverse restored? I thought, no, Sean, Snyderverse, yeah, it's got Snyder written in the name. Warner Brothers haven't called him. So that's not Snyderverse restored. Use your brain. Do you know what I mean? The Snyderverse restored is Zack Snyder, not Warner Brothers, using Zack's ideas and messing them up badly with, crappy storylines that, I know some people like some of the movies, but if you can't see the difference in quality between Zack's trilogy and, say, Wonder Woman, for instance, Wonder Woman and Aquaman, 50-50 on that one. Still haven't made my mind up after all these years on that one. But compared to the other ones like Birds of Prey, even Shazam, that's got a lot of fans as well. But if you've just got to look at the two, you can see the difference in quality.
And I don't even want to think about all these people on the angelic side of the fandom who were telling us all this time that, well, in order to get more of the Snyderverse, we need to support all these other Warner Brothers projects. And it's like, no, we don't. No. You don't have to support Shazam in order to get more of Zack Snyder's projects. One has absolutely nothing to do with the other. And all of these people that claim to be down for Zack were basically shilling for every single Warner Brothers project that was coming out that was completely counter. I seen so many of these people shilling for the Batman, for the Robert Pattinson movie, and I was just like, oh, you want restore the Snyderverse, but what you're basically doing is shilling for something that is exactly counter to what you're claiming to be campaigning for.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what a lot of people don't realize. A lot of people don't realize the whole purpose of Matt Reeves' The Batman was to steer you away from thinking about the Snyderverse, was to get you in a mindset of looking at another actor other than Ben Affleck as Batman, and to get you to focus on don't focus on what you want over here with Restore the Snyderverse. Focus on what Matt Reeves is doing here with his new vision for Batman. And I always said I don't have a problem with anybody that loves that movie or supports that movie. That's completely fine. No. What I have a problem with is people who are in the Snyder movement that are trying to tell us that in order for us to get more of what we want, we have to support this subpar mid crap in order for us to get more of Zack Snyder, which is complete BS, because it was all smoke and mirrors on the part of the clown table.
It was. And when the behind the scenes footage and pictures, because a lot of it was filmed in Britain, started coming out for the Batman, I posted a few. Nothing to say about it. Just here's what it is. Have a look. Right. And we all started working out that something's very wrong here with this. Well, the costume for a start. And stuff like that. And when it comes to the crunch of actually seeing the movie, I said, right, I'm actually going to go and see this movie. Right. And funny enough, I actually wore me and my brother went, and we both wore Make the Batfleck movie campaign hoodies. Which is quite funny. And because a few people locally know who I am. My nickname is Batman in real life as well. I've had it since I was a teenager. And they went, oh my God, Batman turned up to the premiere Batman. I said, I'm only here just to watch it, so I've got an opinion on it.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? I'm not shilling for the movie or anything like that. And it was a one and done for me. I know it's a different style of filming and stuff, but that kind of detective story, you can only watch it once or twice, maybe 3 times, and That's it. It's done. There's no
I
layer.
mean, I seen it once,
Yeah,
and I have no desire to ever see it again.
no, no. Well, there you go. There you go. So that's the proof, and you just have to go back to Zach's
Well, and
Matt.
the thing that gets me about it though, Savage Bad, is the fact that even people who love Matt Reeves the Batman and claim claim it's a masterpiece and say it's better than the Dark Knight and all this
I know.
magical hyperbole. The thing, even these people, I've seen so many people say, "Well, I've seen it once, but I'm in no hurry to see it again." But
No.
it's a masterpiece. Well, wait a minute. If it's such a
Yeah. I
masterpiece,
know.
how come you're not in a hurry to see it again?
No. And coincidentally, a lot of these people that on social media that went, completely nuts. Like, oh my God, it's the best thing I've ever seen. It's astonishing. And all these
Yeah, yeah.
magical words, right? They was the biggest Zack Snyder haters for years. So they was waiting for this movie to come out, right? Yeah, just so they could say this bullshit, say this crap. And I could see it coming a mile off. Certain popular critics on social media and stuff like that were ready for it. And I made some memes saying you wait for the Batman Wars. And it happened.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah,
it was so
I remember
stupid.
I remember all the crap on social media I got when I had the audacity to say that Morbius is a better movie than the Batman. I mean,
I haven't seen that yet, but I've
I
heard
took
it's iffy.
all kinds of crap. I took crap for days over that. And incidentally, I posted it on April Fool's Day because I knew that it wasn't that technically it's
No.
not a better movie than the Batman, but I just thought in terms of story and in terms of entertainment value, I
Mm.
found Morbius to be a better movie. But
Yeah.
the point was that the Pattinson stands came out in droves
That was
to attack me. It
ridiculous.
was ridiculous.
Same.
I think that tweet was insane. It had well over 1,000 likes, and it had a
Yeah.
ton of people just trying to ratio me with negative comments. I was getting death threats. I was getting all kinds of things.
Oh, I've had plenty of them over the
It
year.
was absolutely ridiculous. All over
Yeah.
giving giving my opinion.
Yeah. And
And
it's funny.
it's just like hey, but all these people that supposedly are here for Zach. Remember that hashtag here for Zach, and
Yeah.
they all claim to be they're all there shilling for this movie, talking about how great Robert Pattinson is and how wonderful Matt Reeves is, all the while falling completely in the trap of essentially supporting WB's backup project to shift focus away from the Snyderverse.
Yeah. And it weren't a bad movie, right? It wasn't terrible, but like I said, it was a one and done. I gave it a good rating when it first came out. Even though I got a hardcore Snyder fan, I said it was actually alright. It had some good points to it, but I wasn't shilling for it or anything like that. I was just recognising it had good cinematography, a couple of good action scenes, and then that was the end of it. And that's not what us DC fans, shall I say, want from a movie. We don't want a one and done. We want Man of Steel kind of Batman versus Superman Ultimate Edition, Zack Snyder's Justice League. You can rewatch these movies over and over again and still find something new.
Never get tired of them.
No,
Never.
well, not just that. Even if it's not something new, just an emotional connection to the movies. But for everyone on a personal level, someone has got some sort of personal connection to these movies because it's good storytelling. Whether it be Jonathan Kent, is your stepdad, or a big one for me was Batman going off the rails. I was I was in a lot of trouble when I was younger, and I kind of identified with that evil Batman, looking for redemption. things like that. And everyone's got their own, thoughts and emotional connections to the movies. But yeah, for things like the Batman, and back off of that to the Suicide Squad. You know,
Oh my God.
yeah,
That was another movie that all these people who claimed to be supporting the Snyderverse and using the hashtags, these same people were all shilling for James Gunn's The Suicide Squad and
yeah,
acting like that was going to be the greatest movie since sliced bread. And then the movie comes out and
yeah.
nobody's talking about it. Nobody cares.
No, it was the same as an Avengers movie. There's a bit of excitement when it first come out, and everyone's forgotten about it the next day. It's like, how many people are like talking about, any of the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies in particular now? I think probably the Winter Soldier gets quite a lot of praise. I quite like that one myself, even. I'll admit that. But you don't really hear anyone going in depth about, how great these movies are and what their favourite bits are, because they're so unforgettable and also similar.
Yeah, yeah. I
And,
mean,
and
it's and when you have have movies like that I consider them to be just straight up popcorn movies. Like
yeah,
you basically, yeah, you eat your popcorn, you forget about it, and you move on with your life.
yeah,
You enjoyed it at the time,
that's
but
it.
it's not something you keep thinking about. You're
No.
good. You move on.
You,
It's
you
like
walk out that cinema, you chuck your popcorn in the bin and your Coke, and you go home and go, well, that was all right. And then that's the end of it.
yeah, that was a nice
Yeah.
experience, and then you put on BVS.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
yeah, then you do again
I
for the
mean, it's
millionth time.
I mean, it's like listen, I don't have anything against Marvel and what they do. Their
Neither do I. It's
formula, their
been very
formula,
successful.
their formula is like Coke and Pepsi. It's like a soda product. You
Yeah.
consume it, and when you're done consuming it, you just forget about it. But you're happy that it's there
Yeah.
because it's just check your brain at the door kind of entertainment, and
Yeah.
you just enjoy it and move on. And again, I don't have any problem with that. I've seen all of the Marvel
Just
movies.
same.
I,
Same.
I've liked a good majority of them. I don't
Yeah.
have a problem with them per se. I just
No.
don't like those movies being seen in such a high regard. I mean, they're successful and they're decent movies,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, they're very forgettable.
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you what happened in Avengers Age of Ultron, for example. If I had to take a test on the plot of that movie, I really
Yeah.
couldn't tell you anything that happened. Yeah, I saw it when it came out, but I haven't revisited it since. It's not
No.
something that I've gone back to, or even the first Avengers movie. I mean, I seen it in theaters just like everybody else, but
Yeah.
I really don't. It's not a movie that I go back to and say, oh, I gotta watch that. That's prime viewing material for me. But for a lot of these people, for a lot of these young kids, this Marvel mania that has swept the globe is essentially for a lot of these young people, uh, these Avengers movies, this Marvel, this is cinema to them.
Yeah.
They don't have the cultured palate when it comes to films that
No.
people that with some life experience have had. For them,
Yeah.
it's these Marvel movies. This is their Star Wars, or this is their any whatever insert big name like Jurassic Park or whatever. This is their example of what cinema really is. So for that, you kind of just look at it and you say, well, this is what your experience is, and this is why you're a big fan of this stuff. And I don't have nothing against those people, but I just
No.
prefer my movies to have more depth than that.
Substance and
Yeah.
and great cinematography as well and CGI. You know, sex movies. Well, Man of Steel, for instance, is 9 years old, and
Yeah, and we're still talking about it to this day.
well, General Zod CGI on his suit and the ships and stuff is still better than any Marvel movie out now.
It
And it's
still
not, and
is.
it's 9 years old. So, what was that? What was that show you?
Uh,
Yeah.
and the great Super Corey here says, just realize that it's 4:55 a.m. for you, Savage. This man is killing it right now, jumping on all the live streams. Oh, it's fantastic, man, that you're
Yeah.
here up so early to hang out with me, man. This is fantastic, brother.
No, it's great, and it's actually 5:20 a.m.
Wow. Wow, man.
But
I mean, I usually get up about 4 or 5 in the morning. I don't sleep much, sleep much these days either. I tend
neither
to,
do I.
there's so much, because here's the thing, there's so much going on, and there's always so much to deal with just in life in general. And when you and so I've been kind of living by the mantra, I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Yeah, so have I.
It's
And well, basically what I've been doing is where I've been so sort of involved with you guys and Seal and Mikey and all that. I've kind of set my clock to kind of USA times really, so I can keep up with
Are
everything.
you serious? That is
Yeah,
awesome.
no, seriously, I'm being serious. I was talking to my mum about it the other day. She said, "You're bonkers," doing that. And I said, "Yeah, well, it's great. It works." And I like being involved as much as I can. I'm going to try and get even more involved just in the chat of all the kind of, we've got a bit of a community going on there as much as I can on everyone's channel. I've just got to get the times worked out of when people were on. That's just the case of it. It took me long enough just to work out when, with Seal and Mikey are going to be on and things like that. But, I absolutely love it. And I just said to Mikey recently, with our Dreamwalker characters, I'm in this full time now. I've chosen to, make this my thing. And
It's beautiful to see, man.
yeah,
Having somebody like you who again has been there since the beginning, to be so involved now is these are the kinds of things that give me such hope and inspiration for the movement when I see this. When I saw how your channel just developed, just came out of you just came out of the out of the woodwork and out of the fight for all of this, and decided I'm going to do a channel and I'm going to tell the truth and speak it like it is. That's beautiful, because we need, for all the Stephen Colberts and film junkie weirdos out there, for
I
all
know.
of
I've
them,
been keeping a close eye on him as well.
they're a dime a dozen, and we need more Savage Bats. I mean, come
Thanks.
on, dude.
Yeah,
I would say this. Chris Wong turned in his loyalty for the Snyder movement for a suit jacket and some Warner Brothers clout with the old regime, I guess. I,
Well, that was much clear, wasn't it? Because
I,
he made that statement saying, "I stand with Ray Fisher, and I can't no longer be associated with Warner Brothers." And then next, can't remember how long after, he was back.
Warner Brothers sends him a suit jacket, and now he's Warner Brothers, and I don't
Yeah,
know about you, but did you notice how he started out when Chris Wong, he started out, he was so reserved and calm
there's another
and
thing, like
rational when he would do his
Grace
videos. Now
Rendell.
now he's a nutcase. He
Yeah,
goes on. He goes on. If you've ever seen a recent video of his, he's all talking fast and acting all weird. It's like, dude, that wasn't you. That wasn't
No.
your personality. What the hell
No. Well,
happened to
back in the
you,
day,
guy?
I used to check his videos out every now and again because I
Right.
thought, you
I
know, he
was
was great
he
and all
was he
that.
was the main he was actually the main guy I would watch
Yeah.
in the beginning when we were all fighting for the him and I were Chris Long and I were interviewed by by newspaper sources articles when there were articles being written and stuff and we had I remember with with me, Chris, Fiona, a bunch of other people and he changed to me it wasn't that Chris Wong changed overnight. It was a gradual change, but
Yeah.
but the change was so stark and just
Yeah.
so in your face. It was like a slap in the face. To me anyway, because I always thought that
Yeah.
Chris Wong was a very kind gentleman. He was one of the nicest
Yeah.
guys
Exactly.
that I got to know in the early days of the movement, and I never could understand. I mean, I knew the guy. Like him and I, we were doing we were him and I were doing. I would have him. I used to have Chris Wong on my show back when I still did internet radio when I was doing the ZodWriter show on PSN. I
Yeah.
had him. I would have Chris Wong on every couple months. Chris was a good dude. I don't know what happened. Like he got caught up in that whole clout thing and that whole angelic side of the fandom thing, and then he just sort of flew off the rails and started doing this thing. And I've never understood why you would change who you are
Yeah.
simply because you you felt like, oh, I got to talk to Zack Snyder, so now I have this clout. So now I no longer have to be respectable. I could just be a straight up a-hole because
Yeah.
I talked to Zack Snyder and you didn't. And I really
Yeah.
feel like for some people, that was all the goal was. The goal was
Yeah.
just I want to talk to Zack Snyder on a Zoom call. That's
Yeah.
how that's what it seems like to me. And I've never understood that because for me, I was never in this to be able to talk to Zach. I had a platform long before the Snyder cut, and
Yeah.
I'm going to have a platform long after the Snyderverse. It's just like if all you do is make your thing about one thing, and you're just a one trick pony, you're gonna run out of things to talk about eventually.
That's right. Yeah.
And for Chris Wong, I don't so much blame him for branching out and talking about other stuff because for a lot of the content that he would do on his channel, he talked about a lot of other stuff too. It wasn't just the Snyderverse, but like you had said, the nail in his coffin was when he said that he was no longer going to cover stuff anymore. And then the next thing you know, he's back talking about it. He's basically shilling for everything that WB is putting out. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just ridiculous. And again, I laugh at all these people when they say things like, "Well, I'm trying to build my brand. It's about my brand."
Yeah.
It's not a brand. It's a goddamn YouTube channel. That's
Yeah.
all it is. It's not a brand, you idiot. You're people that are going to watch you are going to support you because you're real and because you tell them the truth. Once you
Yeah.
start lying to them and you start being fake and you start turning your back on your basic principles that you started off with,
Yeah.
nobody's going to pay attention to you
No, because
anymore.
people aren't stupid and they can see it. Do you know what I mean?
Ridiculous.
And I've learnt this through on being on Facebook and stuff, and tried to be a little bit impartial, and sort of go back a little bit and trying to be, try and keep the peace a little bit. And it doesn't work. You just got to come out and say how you feel, and tell the truth because, like I said, people ain't stupid. And they can see real recognizes real. That's the saying, isn't it? And it's a shame as well because like some of these people that were around back in the day that have kind of turned their back on it just for, like you said, I suppose building a brand and things like that. I suppose eventually one day I'll probably do something different, but yeah, with what I'm doing, it's specifically about the fandom, and Zack Snyder and the movies.
But
So
what you're doing the Lord's work.
yeah,
Seriously, man, you are basically carrying the torch from the olden days, from the days of of Fiona and Chris Finaldo and Ramesh De Silva, all the big names, Will Rollins, all the big names of the early days, Mr. West Ashley, all
mm,
the people that were there at the inception of all of this.
yeah,
And you coming out makes me feel good because I was there at the beginning and I know exactly what went on and I know all about the turncoats and understand completely about the grand betrayal that we got and the fact that we're still persevering and we're still making a difference and pushing forward after all this time to get what we want says a thousand things. It says more. Your value is worth the whole damn bunch of them.
oh, thank you.
And I'm just being real here.
Yeah,
I would rather have one savage bat. I would trade all the Chris Wongs and film junkies and nerd queens and all of that for one savage bat because at the end of the day, we are the people that get things done. We are the people that are the driving force behind the Restore the Snyderverse movement.
that's right.
We did it for Release the Snyder Cut. We're doing it for Restore the Snyderverse, and people like you are the rarities and are the reason why these kinds of things are successful. And I don't understand how all these other people who were there can turn their back. And I got a $5 super chat here from Sosa Fam Bam Bam. What's up, Sosa? Says Zod, you are the man. Love you, bro. Have a great stream. Sosa is rocking with you. Thank you, Sosa. You are awesome, man. Thank you so much for being here, dude. You are great. Yeah, dude. This is where we are. Uh uh and Marcus Cruz is asking here, are the Nerd Queens still going? I really can't tell you. I don't know because I don't follow them, so
No,
I'm not throwing any shade at them.
no, me
Okay,
neither.
I said
Been great,
everything
but
that I needed to say about them back in the day. I don't have anything to say about them now. I haven't been following them. I haven't been paying attention to anything that they say or do. I think I actually have them. I might actually have them muted on Twitter, so I don't even see when they post stuff. I don't know. I don't know where they are right now as far as what they. But I know for a fact that they were kind of pushing for some of these other WB projects, I'll never understand
yeah,
because as I've come to view it, it seems like at least to them they feel like they have a personal relationship with Zack Snyder. So I don't understand why they. I mean, they should if they've got that relationship with Zack, then they should already know what the deal is when it came to these old regime WB shill projects. I don't know why anybody would push for those. So I'm not. So again, I'm not throwing shade at them at all. Again because I don't know what they're doing. I'm not following them, and it would be wrong for me to talk about them now because I don't know exactly what they're doing. I like Sil would say, I don't know how they're moving right now, so I
no,
can't really talk about them. But people that I do know that are how they're moving and the way that they're doing things that I've seen lately, I honestly don't. I honestly don't understand it. I don't know how you could be on a stream with Zack Snyder one day and then a few months later you're palling around with Sean O'Connell. I don't know.
no.
I don't get
I
the
don't get it either.
I don't get that either. I don't get the hell out of here with that.
Yeah,
Miss me with your fakeism. Get
Yeah.
out of here with that BS.
Yeah.
You are
That's right.
not you are not real, you are not legit. You are 100% fake. If you're going to tell me that you support Zack Snyder and you want more of the Snyderverse and you're palling around with and making excuses for Sean O'Connell, give me a break.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. But I've got nothing against them, and I even tried to get hold of them to maybe come on a channel and explain themselves and have tell their side of the story, so I could, find out what was going on. But no answer back from them yet. So we'll see how that goes, and maybe I'll be able to bring some light on the situation. But
Jesse Allen says here, I remember the old Zod versus the Nerd Queens fights. Yeah, they were kind of legendary because for a while we were going back and forth there for a while. But
yeah,
I again to this as of right now, whatever issues I may have had with them back in the day, I don't have
yeah,
any issues with them anymore. They're
no,
fine in my view. They can do what they want to do. They basically uh made it clear what they were about a long time ago. So
yeah,
I don't, I like I said, I don't throw shade at them anymore.
no,
It is what it is.
yeah,
What you do is, what you realize is certain people have different agendas, and
yeah,
once you actually see what those agendas are, you're
yeah,
able to make your own decision and move on. And
yeah.
that's really the only
Uh,
thing you can do.
and I think it's a lot based on sort of perks and stuff like that. Little sort of bonuses and things that these kind of people get. Like say an interview with Zach or something, which would be great. I'd love to interview Zach, but it's not highest on my priority. It'd be great. I'd love to meet him. It would be a dream. He replied to me on Vero once. I always go on about it because it was a great day. This was just before the Snyder Cut was released, and I was saying, I've been a big part of the movement, and the heart of the movement, I think I said. And he just replied, "Thanks, brother," with the praise sign. And a couple of big members of the fandom said he doesn't just randomly reply like that to a comment like that. So he must have been watching what you've been doing and all that. So I was really happy about that. But I think more importantly is keeping peace in this fandom. Um,
Yes.
for me, it always has been over the years. I've tried my best. I've made mistakes in decisions and trying to bring that peace in the past. It hasn't worked, and I've had to come out and say sorry. I got that wrong. This is not the way we're gonna have to go about this.
Right,
We're gonna
right.
we're gonna have to find a different attack plan because this ain't working.
I
And
started
things
out,
like that.
man. I started out like this. I started out with the attitude, I love everybody. I want everybody to be successful. We're all one big family here fighting for the same thing.
That's right.
And the sad thing for me is that when I started to see that there were snakes and there were people that were in it for certain agendas, and that's all
Yeah.
that they were about. When that's all that started to come out, that was sad for me. And
Yeah.
Marcus Cruz here says that the Nerd Queens stopped making videos like 6 months ago. I just checked their channel. Yeah, they're not. The thing is, the Nerd Queens were not content creators. Okay, they were essentially people that got in and
Organized.
got
Yeah.
into the fandom for the if you go back and you look at what the reasons were why they got involved with the fandom, it was because of the charity aspect. It was because of
Of
the
AFSP.
of
Yeah.
the AFSP thing, because that was
Yeah.
important to them. And that was and
Yeah.
and again, that's very noble and that's a very
Yeah.
good thing and that's a very good reason, and I give them all the credit in the world for everything that they
Same.
did,
Yeah.
because
So it's
as much as I disagreed with some of the decisions that they made and some of the choices that they made ideologically when it came to how the movement was progressing. and the way that they were moving, essentially, I have to give them all the credit in the world for the things that they were able to accomplish because they essentially got to know Zack Snyder. They worked their way up. They threw on two big fan conventions where they were able to get people get people together and bring people together for a positive cause, which again is something that I got to give them all the credit in the world for. But with that being said, aside from that, I just looked at them again as trying to once again, uh, perch on the side of the angelic side of the fandom, which I thought was wrong. There
Yeah.
shouldn't be an angelic side of the fandom and then the rest of us who are actually fighting for the cause. We should all be
No, that
one.
was
We should
yeah,
all be
that
one
was
group. And the fact that we couldn't be one group because these people over here wanted things to be one way and the rest of us were doing things a different way, to me was what was detrimental to the whole thing, because I always believed we could accomplish more if we were all together as one group. and
yeah, and
and
this
and
is what
it's
I
it's sad.
found in the earlier days when I was, on the front lines doing it and all that, and certain sort of people in the fandom that just wouldn't even reply to me. I'd come up
I
with
know. Yeah, I mean,
plans and
I
stuff.
that were you well, back in the early days, on Twitter, when I remember particularly when the Nerd Queens and a bunch of other people were started getting their clout,
Hmm.
they basically were, because I will say this, I had been following and had considered myself to be friends with Nerd Queens and a lot of these people up
Yeah,
to a certain point. And then there's a day where that I remember in the movement that I consider to be the day of the Great Purge, in
yeah,
which and on that particular day, that was when the angelic side of the fandom was born, and everybody else was just considered, the trash of the fandom, essentially. The
hmm.
Because basically all the people that considered themselves to be top tier, elite, angelic, basically unfollowed or blocked all the people who were not worthy enough to be a part of the angelic side of the fandom. So
That's
that
right.
essentially happened. That essentially
Yeah,
happened overnight. That happened overnight, literally. It was like
yeah, yeah,
one night you were being followed and supported and retweeted, and social media your stuff was being reposted by these people. The very
yeah,
next day, you were blocked or unfollowed or unfriended, whatever you want to call it, and essentially uh, exiled
yeah,
from being a part of whatever they were doing. And that's
yeah.
that's what happened, and it happened
I was.
overnight.
It was the same with me.
And it was and I was and
Because
it was so and it was and for me it was a very, very bitter pill, because I was like, wait a minute, I thought we were all friends, I thought we were all on the same side. What is this? and
yeah,
and then again, like you said, you try to send them messages and nobody replies, and you're just treated like you're basically ostracized, like it's some kind of a religion, and you've been cast out because you didn't do what these people over here wanted you to do for some whatever reason that
yeah,
only they knew what the reasons were.
yeah.
And that to me was the biggest problem. And I got a
Certain
$2 super
criteria.
chat here with from the great Skywalker the Jedi. The new guard is here to motivate the OGs. Yes, yes indeed. Yes
So,
indeed.
but yeah, it's such a shame. But to be honest with you, I don't really care anymore because we're doing the community that wants to work together and really unite, as they used to say, us united. What a crock of shit that turned out to be. But the real people that really want to unite and do things together, we're killing it, telling the truth, and like we said, people can see that. because someone mentioned to me recently about do do you write like scripts for your episodes? And I said no. He said,
No, you
where do
speak from the heart.
where do you get all your content from then? I said, because I've been here the whole time and I can remember it all.
You've been
I
here.
don't need a
You
script.
don't need a script. We're like we can honestly be
Seriously, you asked me
documentarians.
about certain date in the Snyder fan, and I go, boom. I don't need it written down.
We were there. We were there. When you've lived something, you don't need a
Yeah.
freaking script.
No,
When you've
no.
lived it.
That's it, because it's your memories, and so what are you drinking, son?
Yeah, Zantek wants to know what I'm drinking. I'm drinking a Mountain Dew black cherry kickstart.
Yeah, I'm on the
What are you
Pepsi
drinking?
Max.
Pepsi Max at
Oh.
at almost 6 o'clock in the morning your time, huh?
Yeah.
I honestly, I love it, and again, caffeine keeps us going, man.
Yeah, that's right.
Especially, doing like stuff like this late at night, early morning.
Yeah.
I honestly feel like, again, Savage Bat, that we are at a point now where, again, like you said, the community is growing, the community is thriving,
really is coming
and
together
we
now.
don't need people that came in for their 15 minutes of fame and left
Yeah.
us. All those people that left and decided to sod off, that's up to them. That's great. Go ahead, do your thing, move on. Do what you want.
I'm not bothered about that.
I'm not
And I
bothered.
hold no
It's fine.
grudges against any of them anyway.
No,
Because
it's
I never
perfectly fine.
knew any of them anyway. I've knew a few people and stuff. I've got some good friends, that are friends of people like, and that, and but I've never really got too heavily involved, because when it comes to things like this fandom, yeah, if you're good to me, you're polite and nice to me, I'll be polite back. And that's how friendships are born. That's how communities are born, where we all support each other. Everyone supports each other. We try to, elevate each other. Whereas the past things was kind of like elevate ourselves and leave the soldiers behind to die, like, if you like. And the same's happened with these sort of modern Restore the Snyderverse sort of pages and stuff like that. Sort of throwing their weight around a bit and having a go at veterans. Personally, I've had quite a lot of grief from these
I agree. A lot of these new
newcomers.
people can go away and never be. It's ridiculous. And again, and I don't have anything against new people that come into the fandom.
That's what I meant.
I think it's great that they do, but when you come in and you're new and you don't know anything, you kind of got to take the time, to research and see what's going on, see who's doing what.
Who's who?
Try to get in there and learn, because you come in there and you don't know anything. Like you and me, you could just ask us anything, and because we were there and because we lived it, we can tell you. We knew who the players were back in the day, and again, that's my whole issue with people like Mercury and Geralt of Snyderverse, because I don't know them, because I've never had any real interaction with them, and I don't know who they are behind the scenes.
I think
that's my problem.
Batdan made a comment earlier saying he wasn't not a fan of the Geralt and that, because they caused a sort of lot of anger type things in the fandom. And I've noticed that as well with a couple of those big Twitter pages. They're great for rallying the troops, but when it comes down to the crunch, silly sort of events in the Snyderverse history, they've kind of made things worse by aggravating the situation. When you got to let's hold up for a minute, right? Yeah, work out the facts first of what's going on before you go start tearing everyone down, and all this kind of stuff, and it's a shame when that happens. And we all make mistakes, but the Twitter thing, I do get involved with Twitter a little bit, just to sort of show my support for Restore the Snyderverse days and, Pacific days and stuff like that, and support my friends on Twitter or whatever. You guys and Sil, Mikey, and
But
all
you're
that.
primarily a Facebook person, though.
Facebook is my main
like
thing.
I communicate with you through Facebook.
Yeah.
I know that's your main go-to.
But Twitter for me has always been a shit show.
It is.
The only good thing it's done is the hashtags. The amount we got and getting the Snyder Cut and the 1.5 million tweets for Restore the Snyderverse, things like that. But other than that, I find the whole thing really toxic. I'll tell you a really, really good example of where I really, really took a step back from Twitter was I made a post on Autumn's birthday, wishing her a heavenly happy birthday. And I was mobbed by hundreds. I had to delete the tweet in the end. I was mobbed by hundreds of people saying, "What you're just using what happened to Autumn to elevate the Snyderverse and things like that." I said, "No, you don't even know me. I've been in this. I care about this stuff, big time. I've suffered with mental health problems myself. That's one of the reasons, the sort of AFSP side of it, the Associated Foundation for Suicide Prevention. It means a lot to me, and I got attacked for that. Just people misunderstanding what I meant. Just a simple post like that.
People don't know, and they don't understand, and they miss. And again, Twitter is the ultimate cesspool of misunderstanding.
Yeah, and I meant no disrespect. I've got nothing but love for the Snyder family and what's happened in the past with the tragedies and everything. This is why I kind of sort of stay away from it a little bit because Facebook and YouTube are my domain. I've never been interested really in Instagram either.
Oh yeah. No, Instagram. I very rarely post anything on Instagram. I had done one internet radio show where I interviewed this young lady who was an author and wrote a book, and I was interviewing her about her book, and her primary social media platform was Instagram. Yeah. So I posted. So when I did the show that I did with her, interviewing her, I posted about it on Instagram. But I think to this day I've only posted about 3, maybe 4 times on Instagram because I don't really like the platform all that much.
I don't like the way it works and stuff, and you can't interact with friends and audience.
It's hard to interact, and there's
you can't really see what's going on. I think more than anything, Instagram is for pretty girls, pictures for people to just click on.
Yeah,
I think that's basically what it is.
Pictures and recipes and
things
like that. It's kind of it kind of reminds me of like a slightly more sophisticated version of Snapchat, but again, I don't. Yeah. Those are not my platforms really, so I don't really.
No, and the same with Vero. I hardly ever post that.
Vero. Oh my God, I fell off the Vero train.
Yeah, all I do is I just go on there to support Zach,
right?
Ray Fisher, people like that, and a couple of my friends, Dr. Manhattan. I'm good friends with him and people like that. I just go in and write some comments and stuff, but I don't try not to get into it because again, it's a bit like Instagram and no disrespect to Vero because I know that's Zach's thing and all that. But it's just not for me.
Right,
You know,
right. I've seen, and I don't know about you, but you see a lot of that too. The same thing with girls posting their pictures and that kind of thing. And
yeah,
Vero is very, it's very fluid on that level too. But again,
yeah,
it is Zach's platform of choice,
yeah.
so I go on it again just to support him, but
Yeah,
not
that's what I
really
do.
for
Make
anything
sure I
else.
always like his post, comment, to support him, and if I've got any questions, ask a question, and things like that. But yeah, I just my main thing is Facebook. I just like it because of the way you can talk to people, interact with people. I've been admin of a few Facebook pages in the past, and I
Hmm.
don't even like the concept of the page.
Yeah.
I prefer to use my profile as my page,
Yeah.
and I've always stuck by that. I even call it my page. I don't. It's not my profile. I'll probably change it to just follow eventually. So I've reached my 5,000 limit, nearly at 1,000 followers now, just under. So that'd be a little milestone. But I'd rather work on that, and it's for me. It's never been about the money or anything like that. It's about reaching the audience. It's about getting people to be get to know about Zach, his movies. It's always been like that. That's how it started for me. Was educating people on the movies, the movement and things like that. And it's so nice to hear. I've had God knows how many messages and comments saying, it was you that made me a fan of Zack Snyder. Because I hated it. I jumped on the hate train of Zack Snyder, and it was you that showed me what he was all about. Just explaining the style of filmmaking, things like that. And it's so nice to see when people say things like that. It makes you proud, like. And the same with the AFSP thing. Every time I buy, something from Ink to the People, I post a picture of it with all the links and stuff. Um, and the same again, you know, I bought something from AFSP because of you. I don't need a credit to say I've earned uh, thousands of pounds for AFSP. I've done it anyway, just showing people about it, getting it out there. And when well as Chris Hughes, my friend Dr. Manhattan, laughs about it because he said you pretty much funded the AFSP movement yourself. I've got every single item apart from the little football they did.
Yeah, I ended up. You know what? I ended up getting the little football back when they did the football thing, and then
That's the only thing I haven't
I
got.
gave it to my dad
Yeah.
Father's Day of that year because my dad
Ah,
and I, see all the movies, and he's all,
that's nice.
I got my dad all up in the Snyderverse, so I got him
Yeah.
gave him the football. It to me, all of those campaigns, and I'm like you, I bought all the shirts, I
Yeah.
supported all the campaigns. Again, that's what it is when I what I mean when we were there
Yeah.
from the beginning, supported everything. We started with Zack Snyder's very first Ink to the People T-shirt, where he outlined the entire plot of his whole Justice League arc on one T-shirt.
Yeah.
I mean, it's where you're talking about, coming from a place where, you know, if you support something and you love something, you're going to throw everything that you have behind it.
Yeah.
And if you were there from the beginning, you've lived and breathed, the Snyderverse for years now, and it's just continuing, and it's just growing, and it's never going to stop. And this is why we're going to continue to be successful, because the determination and the faithfulness and the love and support is there. And when you have all of that, it's
Yeah.
hard to fight that. And Al Necron says, I'm just I just follow Snyder Nation and the Mikey verse, and I'm happy. Sill Nation and the Mikeyverse. That's all you need. Sill Nation,
Yeah,
Snyder Nation, and the Mikeyverse. That's all. That's all you really need at this point, because
yeah,
Sill and Mikey are tapped into it in the right way. We
yeah,
finally have somebody who sees it and is actually looking for stuff for us as a fandom, as a movement.
yeah,
And this is something we never had before, because again, it's popular to crap all over the Snyderverse. It's popular to crap on us as fans and to single us out
yeah,
as just garbage and despicable people, even though
yeah.
our entire cause has been built around AFSP, which I'll never understand how anybody
No,
can look at a fandom whose primary thing is pushing for AFSP, but we're all scum of the earth because we support Zack Snyder as a director. I don't
yeah,
I
I
don't
know, and it's just focusing on the negative, because there is a few really toxic Snyder fans that have really embarrassed the fandom, basically, and they're just focusing on them. They're not realizing that like we're all in this for a good cause, and positivity. Like Necron was saying, Sil Nation and the Mikeyverse. I'm so proud to be a part of all this, you know, and be involved with it, and just to see such people just helping each other out, you know, and it's the complete opposite of what's happened before in the fandom with this kind of gatekeeping stuff going on. Seal Mikey, and I try my best to get everyone I can that I know is the real deal involved with my channel, and it all crosses over together, and that's the magic part of it. We've really got Seal and Mikey to thank for that on the YouTube side of things, because they've done amazing things, and it's just it's just amazing, really.
Yeah,
Uh,
it really is. It really is amazing. We've come a long way as a
yeah,
fandom, and it's again just continuing to grow. You know, based on love, friendship,
yeah,
loyalty, and a whole bunch of like-minded people
yeah.
who are all fighting the same battle, essentially.
Willing to support each other, and it's been so disappointing, to see these sort of I'd hate to call them rivals, because there should be no rivals in the Snyder fandom. But on Facebook, some of the Restore the Snyderverse groups, very cagey, with the sort of veterans of the fandom. I think there's a bit of jealousy going on there, and then the same on YouTube. I don't really get too heavily involved in it, and I don't want to give the debaters, as we call them, any sort of airtime, really. But I've been seeing the comments they've been making, and they're not just making comments about like me and you and Seal, Mikey and stuff. They're actually bringing up just regular fans from, say, the chat that are on Twitter, and picking them out and showing them on the channel. People like Film Junkie and stuff like that. And they're kind of like having a stab at these fans. These are just normal people, yeah, that are supporting the cause. And you're using your big fucking channel, whatever, to pick on these normal fans that are just dedicated. And sometimes Snyder fans do get angry and not lash out, but lash back, at the hate, and they don't sort of focus on why certain sort of people, are sort of getting angry about certain situations. They're just focusing on their reply to it, and I think that's really sad. For it's kind of bullying, really. Because some of these channels that have got this sort of anti-Snyder fandom, they've got a big following, and they should know better than to go around picking on your regular fan. I mean, it's disgusting in my eyes, really. And I don't approve of that kind of behaviour. If someone really needs calling out, that's really done something bad, then fair enough. But not just people talking to each other on Twitter and discussing the Snyderverse and things like that. And we all have a bit of banter, like say things about the Batman. What's wrong? There's nothing wrong with criticising a movie. And you shouldn't be demonised for that. It's
Yeah, well, the good Austin says thanks for the wrench. By the way, Zod. Yeah, I've been giving out wrenches to a lot of you tonight. I gave out a lot of wrenches tonight because I want you all to know how much I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate you all coming here and being and supporting me, especially when I have great people here like Savage Bad. And I honestly, this is what it's all about: supporting each other and being and just doing the right thing. And a lot of you guys, you've been supporting me for a long time. And I just noticed, and I know because I noticed yesterday, I'm like, there's a lot of people that I need to give wrenches out to. And I noticed, I thought I'd already given out wrenches to like Sill and Skywalker and all that, and I was like, oh my god, I got to give out these wrenches. So I started, I just started giving out, wrenches between yesterday and today, because I want to make sure that everybody who's always here is proper. And I know, and I also do it so that I know it's you when you come in, legitimately you, because there are people that like to come on people's chats and pretend to be people that they aren't. So a lot of times, that's another thing I've noticed quite a bit of too. So.
Yeah, the lurkers, as they call them.
Yes. Yes, and we've got Skywalker says, I heard another beta is shutting down their channel. Timing is very weird, to say the least. Well, these betas should take down their channels because they've been proven wrong time and time again. How many times can you be proven wrong?
Yeah. I've said this before, exactly your words you just said on my channel. How many times, do you want to go, right, let's sign off? Well, they released the Snyder Cut for a start, it doesn't exist and all that. And then on to the Warner Brothers Discovery merger, all the stuff that we've been hoping for. And, the Mikey has scooped, years ahead, months ahead. And I always tell people, look, seriously, I've been trying to tell you this stuff, right, yeah? If you want to do a catch-up, go and check out Sil Nation, Sil Abdul Inc. Watch his old episodes and you'll see it for yourself.
Watch Sil's entire channel. Like,
they're not willing to listen, though.
Just binge watch his entire channel.
Yeah,
because if you binge watch his entire channel, you'll understand. And I don't, and that's the other thing for me too. Like he knows, Sil and Mikey know there's a reason. There's a reason why Sil, okay, for example, there's a reason why Sil and Mikey are connected. Mikey has been in the scoop game for over 30 years. People don't realize Mikey is 100% legit, okay? Yeah. And Sil didn't just, pick Mikey out of thin air. Sil had lots of options as a content creator of who he could have went with, because Sil was kind of going in the direction of a scooper for a while, that type of genre. And when he connected with Mikey, it was magic.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's the perfect match. It's the perfect thing. And honestly, this is what I'm talking about. It's like, give me a break. Like you're gonna trash Sil and Mikey because there's a guy out there who used to be friends with Mikey Sutton who is jealous over Sil and Mikey's relationship and wants to be toxic and rude about it and wants to be, and wants to attack people and needs attention.
Yeah.
And, I, to me, I just,
It's
I don't understand. If you were friends with the man uh, before Sil even met him, okay, you were friends with him, then you have a friendship, the content of Mikey's character. You know what kind of a person Mikey Sutton is.
yeah.
So just because Mikey Sutton and Sil Abdul have formed this alliance and you do good work together doesn't
Excellent.
mean that you have to be bitter about it and
No.
have to be jealous like a jilted girlfriend because because Mikey isn't giving you attention. I mean, is that what it's about? Because
Yeah.
quite frankly, if you're a grown man, you should have more respect for yourself, and you
Yeah.
should also understand that, hey, you know, uh, people can have other friends. People can have
Yeah.
other people that
That's
they
right.
collaborate with. What is the big deal that Mikey and Sil collaborate with each other? I think what it is,
I know. It's a
uh,
lot of jealousy going around on
I
that.
think the jealousy. You know what I think the jealousy is based off of? I think the jealousy is based 100% off of the fact that Sil and Mikey are 100% magic together. They
Yeah.
are they have created something that puts butts in the seats. They
Yeah.
have created something
It's unique as well.
that's unique, that people want to see, that people tune into from week to week. And
Yeah.
yes, you could call me a shill for Mikey and Sil because I am 100%.
Yeah.
Sil is I consider Sil to be one of my best friends. And to
Yeah.
be honest with you, whenever these people come at Sil and Mikey, I kind of take it a little personally because it's like,
So do
listen,
I.
we are not we are not a bunch of deluded fakers.
No.
It's all these betas out here that are combing the desert for L's,
Yeah.
looking for Sil and Mikey to be
That's
wrong
right.
instead of taking the time and actually looking at the things that Sil and Mikey have gotten right.
That's right. And I always support Mikey's page in my group, Restore the Snyder versus Snyder Knights. It's got 61,000 members now. I've been in other groups before, but this one just took off and it's done really well. Whenever I post them, I see the odd comments, and it's always people pushing the kind of film junkie, that kind of narrative in the comments, and making complete lies up, about Seal and Mikey, and I explained to them, right, to a certain point, what proof have you got of this? They've just been right over and over again, and some of them go, I apologise, I didn't realise that, and some of them just won't give it up. So I just block them from the group because, if you've not got something positive to, say about the fandom or Zack Snyder, then what are you doing here? It's this Zack Snyder group. Do you know what I mean? And I've had the same thing with the jealousy that Mikey and Sil had, when sort of started getting a bit more of a following on Facebook and the group got more successful, and then started the YouTube as well. The people that I've known for years in the Snyder fandom just overnight won't speak to me over it. Just pure jealousy because that should have been me, or I've done this, I've done that. So I offered you to be a.
There's room enough
There's
for
room enough for
everybody
everyone.
to carve out their little piece of the pie.
Yeah, just do your own
I've
thing.
never understood it. Do your own thing, and the
Yeah,
people will come. This community is a perfect example of
yeah,
that. There is no there. You know what it is. You know what the jealousy is with these people over Sil and Mikey. Within this community, there's no jealousy over Sil and Mikey. We all
Yeah,
support each other, and we're all a network
that's
of
right.
YouTubers, of content creators now,
Yeah,
where we support each other over, not only over um, you know, over on this YouTube platform, but across social media. And
yeah.
Integrity 101 says it's not just that, the existence of Sil and Mikey and the Snyderverse scoops exposes the move on crowd as complete fools that shouldn't be followed, as they simply can't see past their nose. And I
Well,
agree
this
with
is
that.
that is a good point because just recently I had some long time Snyder fans that I kind of considered friends for a long, long time,
Yeah.
and they got made to look like fools over this. Because I've been saying even before Mikey and Sil, about how we think this Discovery merger is going to go down, and the Affleck's going to be back thing, and things like that, and they were counteracting everything that I was saying, and my fellow Snyder Knights and admins, and but that's sort of the positive side of it, and instead of just saying, oh, I'm sorry, we was wrong, yeah,
Yeah.
turn their back on the entire fandom and their friends as well, which I've just it was complete. I'll be brutally honest with you. It's not an easy time for me. I was really disappointed by that.
Oh
Um,
yeah, you're gonna be disappointed by
yeah,
these people just turning their back randomly
yeah,
over stupid trivial things.
yeah.
You should never turn your back on something that you really believe in over jealousy towards someone else. If that's
That's
what you
right.
do, if that's what these people are doing, then they were never committed in the first place. I'm sorry.
No, no, they weren't.
I'm
They never
sorry.
was. Yeah.
No.
And you just go back and look at, I do a bit of sort of old post hunting and stuff on people to see what they've been posting in the past, and some interesting things pop up. They were never really fans in the first place. I've heard some really, really, really good ones from so-called pillars of the Snyder community that were actually, hating on Man of Steel and Batman versus Superman for a long time. And yeah, it's just like, what the fuck are you even doing it?
Yeah, it's
Sorry,
like,
my
dude,
language.
it's like, dude, it doesn't make any sense. It's like, listen, it's like everything that we've done, we've all been consistent. We keep
Yeah,
ourselves, together. We stay on point.
yeah,
We're not trying to knock anybody down. We're trying to stay positive.
that's right. And what more can you do than that? And that's what community's about, And
Yeah, and this is a great point that Skywalker makes. They said we don't know business. Yeah,
yeah,
that's another great line that the betas have. We don't
yeah,
know business, because we're believing in Sil and Mikey and the things that they're saying. Oh, the merger. Oh, the merger's not going to change anything. Toby Emmerich is still going to be there, and everybody's still going to be in power. It's still going to be status quo. Doesn't look very status quo to me.
no. Well, they were saying this before release the Snyder Cut as well. It was you don't understand the movie industry was the
Right,
quote.
right. They're not gonna spend that kind of money to release the Snyder cut. They're
Yeah,
just not gonna do it.
for five Snyder fans.
Who's gonna,
That
yeah, who's gonna
there,
pay for it?
there ain't five Snyder fans. There's millions of us.
Yeah, yeah. Millions of fives, basically.
Yeah,
I mean, what do you?
yeah,
I don't understand. Like, there's clearly a demand, and the thing that gets me about all this is that there's more of a demand for the Snyderverse than anything DC related that Warner Brothers has tried to shovel out over the years. Think about it. Every single project that they have released
everything.
outside of Zack Snyder's projects
Yeah,
has underperformed or disappointed in some way, with the
yeah,
exception of Todd Phillips' Joker movie, which was another movie that Warner Brothers didn't throw its full support behind.
No, Toby Emmerich is tried to put stop to it, didn't he?
So what does this tell you about what is successful and what isn't successful?
Yeah,
Zack Snyder's Justice League is referred to as a global phenomenon by
that's right.
Warner Brothers employees from the old regime.
Yeah,
Todd Phillips' Joker made like $1 billion, right?
yeah. Won an Oscar as well.
Won an Oscar.
Yeah,
But tell me about Aquaman, Birds of Prey, Shazam, The Suicide Squad. Tell me about these movies. What have these movies done to garner? Even the Batman didn't make $1 billion, right?
no,
So what are we talking about here? If we're measuring success
yeah,
based off of uh, fan, fan support and desire. We're still talking about Zack Snyder's movies. Zack Snyder made money. Zack Snyder's Justice League is a global phenomenon.
yeah,
Compare global phenomenon with the Suicide Squad. Compare global phenomenon with Matt Reeves, the Batman, and come
yeah.
back to me and tell me what's more popular. What do people want more of? This is
Simple
why
facts.
we have so much this is why we have so much hate garnered at us as a fan base, because you have a
Definitely.
lot of these people who, for whatever reason, hate Zack Snyder, hate us, hate his vision for DC, and
Yeah.
want to support anything,
Other than
literally, that doesn't involve him.
yeah, that's right.
Anything. They
Yeah,
know that the Batman movie is mid. They know
yeah.
it's mid. We all know it's mid. You cannot tell me that
People
that
have already
movie
stopped talking about it already.
they've stopped talking about it. Again, it's a mid project.
Yeah,
It was not anything that you're going to remember. This movie is not going to stand the test of time like Man of Steel, BVS, and Zack Snyder's Justice League. I'm
not no
sorry.
chance.
This movie did not make the impact. And I don't care how many betas out there were chanting and fighting for it, but they're like that for every single DC project that comes out that's not Snyderverse. And I gotta say this too, because I have not had a chance to mention how I feel about this. I was vastly underwhelmed by Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam trailer. I
So was
am
I.
no longer excited for this movie, and I could
No,
care and I could
there
care
was a
less.
glimmer of hope, and then I saw the sort of cartoony, sort of Disney, it almost Pirates of the Caribbean look to it.
Yeah.
Um,
It looks very mid to me.
yeah,
It doesn't look like
no,
it's going to
me.
be anything, and I had hope for it. But when I
So
saw the trailer and I saw The Rock
yeah,
acting like The Rock, I
yeah.
was like, okay, well, clearly
I was
he,
really surprised it got that 98% approval thing because
well, again,
it's
because
just
again, it's not again, it's its own thing. It's
yeah,
its own thing. I mean, maybe there'll be a Henry Cavill cameo, maybe there won't. At this
yeah.
point, I don't care.
Neither do I.
I'm just looking at it as another mid
That was
project.
I had no hope for Aquaman 2 and Shazam anyway, full stop, because I didn't like Shazam. And then the whole Aquaman mess with, I think Jason Momoa made a couple of comments saying it's going to be very comedy driven. So that just put me off that movie straight away because, it's, and I don't mind comedies and stuff, but I just thought that's a red flag already. But Black Adam had a little bit of hope, and yeah, the same. But that trailer came out, and he's grabbing a rocket and getting hit with a metal pole in the head and kicking someone off into the sea and all that. I thought, Hancock. I think someone said
And I'm not saying that Black Adam is going to be a bad movie.
no. It'll probably have
I'm
some
just
really cool
saying
scenes.
that my expectations for it have diminished completely.
No, and I hope it is
I
good.
don't care. I don't
No,
care.
no, neither do I. I hope it's good, but from what I've seen of the trailer, I'm the same. Seriously. And not a lot of people out there are going to like that opinion because a lot of people are very excited about it. But You know.
I was excited about it till I saw the trailer. To
Yeah,
be honest
same,
with you,
same, same, same,
I was,
same,
I was
same.
hyped. Everything that The Rock had said about it, like, this was one of those situations where the movie it was kind of like it was like, now it's time to put up or shut up. They built all that hype around that trailer, okay? And
Yeah,
then that trailer comes out, and I swear to God, the first thought that I had when I saw the trailer is, this looks like an MCU movie.
that's the first thing I thought. Yeah, I think a comment I made to my brother was Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull special effects.
Or you know what movie I thought about specifically, and you might be able to back me up on this. I thought of, when I saw the trailer. You know what I thought about?
What's that?
Thor Ragnarok. And I hate that movie, Thor Ragnarok. But
Yeah,
that was the first movie to come to mind after I saw that trailer. I'm like,
yeah,
this is an MCU movie. Was this directed by Taika Waititi? Because
yeah,
this has a very MCU esque feel to it. Now, I'm not saying that
definitely.
it's going to be bad. It could be like we were talking about MCU earlier. It could be a nice little popcorn flick. But to
Yeah,
me, I didn't wait all these years
no,
for The Rock to play the role he was born to play, for it to be a popcorn flick. Okay, I want
definitely not.
a serious, uh, nice, dark, gritty comic book film where this character is taken seriously. And from
Yeah,
what I
same.
see, that's not what we're gonna get.
No, and the only sort of glimmer of hope I sort of thought was hopefully it's just a really bad trailer, and the rest of the movie,
Well, we're hoping, but the problem is,
the actual movie is
and
actually
the
quite
reason,
good.
but the problem with this though, and the reason why I feel like this trailer is clearly representative of how this movie is going to be, is
Mm,
because of all of the hype surrounding it. They
mm,
made such a big deal about this trailer. I mean, they literally had countdowns before the trailer launched, like it was some sort
mm.
of worldwide global event, like it was going to be this big thing. And I'm
Was it
like,
was very
listen,
underwhelming.
Rock, you're way past your prime. Okay, you need to stop acting like you're standing on a WWE stage yelling at John Cena and Hulk Hogan. Those days are over with. You need to start being an actor, because
Yeah,
this same tired Rock act in every single movie is getting old. I'm
yeah.
tired of seeing it. Start showing your range as an actor,
Well,
or get the hell out of here.
that's what I was hoping Black Adam was going to be. Was he's going to remove himself from this. I've said this before in my other episodes. The Rock with the bald head, the beige shirt, either shorts or trousers. It's actually the same character in every movie. I thought Black Adam actually might. Um,
He would actually have to act, because
yeah,
Black Adam is a nice complex comic book character.
yeah,
If you're gonna, and again, The Rock has the look, but
mm,
unfortunately, it doesn't look like he has the acting chops to pull off the character in the way we all want to see. I think I'm gonna have the same problems with this movie that I had with Shazam, which is, I
yeah,
don't think that the characterization. I don't like how Zachary Levi portrayed Shazam. I thought the kids did a good job in the movie, but I thought Zachary Levi was terrible as Shazam.
yeah. And
I
the
hated
suit,
him in the role. I
the
hated him,
suit was
and
terrible as
and
well.
and, and I think we're gonna get the same thing with The Rock. He's just gonna be The Rock in a Black Adam costume.
Yeah, which is
It's
such a
and
shame because
that's not good.
Ben Affleck um, is basically Bruce Wayne ripped straight out of the comic book. Size,
Yes, yes.
chin,
Ben
everything.
Affleck can act. Ben Affleck can act.
I was expecting The Rock to kind of, because he's a
Henry
big
Cavill
guy.
is Superman.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly. I
like
was expecting The Rock to do that because he's got the build and all that, and It's led to nowhere. It's really, really disappointing.
I mean, you might as
Uh,
well call the movie. You might as well do Marvel Studios presents Black Adam because that's
yeah,
exactly what it looked like, right down to the right down to the color palette of the trailer too. I
yeah,
don't
it
know if you
was.
noticed that the
I
color
did.
palette
Yeah,
reminded me very much of Thor Ragnarok. It had very, very bright, very glitzy, kind of like what are you doing? This is not the movie that you were promising us for the better part of a decade. What is going on
yeah,
here?
yeah. I think it was 2013 when they first started talking about that movie, when Man of Steel came out. When they
And
first started.
we've got Sharon Peters here in the chat. The great, wonderful, and beautiful Sharon Peters saying, "Hey, girlfriends, I'm back on Twitter. Someone hacked my account. Sorry that you got hacked, Sharon, but I'm definitely glad that you're back. Always glad to see you.
Right.
As always, you are a treasure, and everybody should be happy to be around you." And Lucas Ironside here says, "I still think Black Adam will be a good movie. I'm not expecting a lot from it." That's the problem right there. The
Yeah.
line that you just said is my problem with it right away. I'm not expecting a lot from it. I
So
am expecting a lot from it. Okay, my problem is we waited far too long for this movie for it to just be a wank fest. If it's just going to be a wank fest, then they might as well have not even bothered. It's to the
yeah,
point where if you're not going to take the material seriously, get out of here. It's there's no time for that. If we want movies like that, we've got the MCU for that. We don't need
yeah,
Black Adam being another MCU movie just under a DC banner. I'm so sick and tired of this crap. How many
yeah.
more
So
of these how many more of these mediocre movies do we have to get before we start getting good content again?
that's
It's
right.
just it's just ridiculous. And my problem is I feel I'm more mad at The Rock than anybody else because you would think the guy
Yeah,
has all this love for Black Adam, the role I was born to play. The
yeah.
what was the words he said? The the
Hierarchy of power.
hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change.
Yeah.
All this hype and baloney for what?
And the shots of Black Adam with the hood and all in the dark and everything and looked really cool.
Right.
And then we get to the trailer and it's
And the trailer's basically Thor Ragnarok meets Black Adam, I guess. I
uh,
don't know. I was so disappointed, man. I was
yeah,
like, I was like, I was like, this is exactly why uh they needed to rein in the Rock and say this script is garbage. We're not doing this. We need to take the material seriously. Come
yeah,
on, Dwayne, show us that you can act. Show us that you can act outside of uh you know doing your wrestling shtick that you've been doing your whole career.
yeah,
Open up as an actor. My
yeah.
God, man. I mean, it's
So
time.
I think the only thing that could be kind of salvageable with it really is, like say, um, characters in Zack Snyder's Justice League were portrayed a lot different to the DCEU version of themselves. Is maybe after the Black Adam comes out, introduce Black Adam in the Snyderverse as a more darker character
We need to
afterwards. That
recast. I at this point I look at The Rock and I just shake my head because if there's one role that he actually needs to act, it's Black Adam.
it should have been this. Yeah, I was expecting it to be this.
I mean, I look. I don't look.
Really was.
I know. Like all of you are saying in the chat that The Rock plays himself in every movie. You are absolutely correct. But at this point, it's just there. We don't have time for it.
Yeah,
At this point, if I want to watch The Rock play The Rock, I've got dozens and dozens of other movies to do where I can do that. I can watch the I think the one movie where he where he actually did kind of try to act a little differently was that movie. Remember the movie The Scorpion King,
Yeah.
where he didn't really have a lot of dialogue, and he kind of actually had to emote and actually had to be a he actually had to be a character. I'm not saying that you know he doesn't have the acting ability to play Black Adam, but from
No.
what I'm seeing in the trailer, it just looks like he just defaulted into The Rock because again, he has too much creative control. So he's going to
Yeah.
do what he wants to do. And that doesn't mean, and to me, that means that the character is going to suffer because The Rock is going to be The Rock.
Yeah, that's right. But we've got there's we've got the mergers in full effect now. So hopefully this will just be the last remnants of the metaverse, shall we say, whatever you want to call it. And we'll start seeing some major changes after this.
Oh, I agree with you on this one, Integrity 101. Thor Ragnarok was the Batman and Robin of the 21st century. I'd
Yeah,
go as far as to say, and I'm going to be honest here, Batman and Robin was a better movie than Thor Ragnarok. No joke. At least Batman and Robin wasn't pretending to be something that it wasn't. Batman and Robin made no bones about the fact that Batman and Robin was supposed to be campy, goofy, and not taken seriously. Thor Ragnarok was billed as an actual comic book movie and basically trying to mislead people and make them think that they were actually adapting the actual Thor Ragnarok comic book story. And all they did was make a stupid, campy, fart joke infested comedy that everybody thinks is hilarious. Well, I'm sorry, I don't go into these movies wanting to laugh from beginning to end. I go into these movies because I want to actually see something compelling like the comic books I would be reading. I mean, come on.
that's
That to
right.
me is this is where I think this is what separates those of us that are fighting for restore the Snyderverse
This what
and
it,
these people that just shill for everything that comes out.
yeah.
This is
Well,
what separates them.
this is why it's so important. Because we want this.
Because Zach is really the last remnant left of
Yeah,
giving us serious storytelling. We don't
yeah.
have Christopher Nolan in DC anymore.
No,
So I mean, Zach is the last one left. Zach is the last of the Mohicans. If we don't have Zach making these movies, it looks like you're not going to get compelling stories anymore because they all want the movies. Every other movie has to be like Marvel, has to follow Marvel's
yeah.
jokey action comedy format, and that's the problem.
Spoon-fed story with jokes and explosions every 5 minutes. It's got no substance to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Well, thank you, Bat Channel, for being here. Bat Channel says, "Alrighty, fam, I need to go to bed for work tomorrow. Great stream as always. Subscribe to my boy Zod and the Savage Bat. Absolutely. Thank you so much,
Thanks, mate.
Bat Channel, for being here. Always a pleasure to see you in the chat, brother. And yeah,
Thanks, man.
I and Integrity 101 says, I'm so sick of every superhero film trying to be Avengers. And that's it. Even Avengers, with the amount of comedy that the very first one had, tried to at least take the material a little bit seriously. I mean,
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
I don't understand. So it's almost like, but from the Avengers on, though, it just for the MCU, it just all kind of went downhill. Like the movies we got, we got a couple of good movies in between that were kind of like flukes, like Captain America: Winter Soldier. That was a pretty darn good movie for the MCU.
Solid movie.
And then the fact that
MCU.
it's yeah, and then the fact that but when you look at a lot of these other ones, it's just like it's all straight up comedy. I don't, so
Yeah, Thor Ragnarok's a perfect example. They just nerfed any characters, especially the Hulk. Like, what
well,
the hell?
because people complained that Thor: Dark World was too dark and was too boring, so they decided to go full slapstick comedy for the next one. So that's what I think you. This is what I think happens. It's like a perfect example with what happened with DC with Batman Returns being
Yeah,
so dark. So then when Joel Schumacher wanted to do a dark movie with Batman Forever, Warner Brothers wanted it to be more campy and kid friendly,
so they could
and
sell
then
toys.
you got a complete merchandising commercial with Batman and Robin.
With
So
McDonald's Happy Meal toys, things like that. Just for that, it was so
yeah,
stupid.
now it'll be the McDonald's plant based burger with with uh with a with the Rock Black Adam figurines and
Yeah,
some and some Doctor Fate French fries or something. I mean,
yeah.
to me, I just I don't I'm seeing this.
Made
I'm
from
looking at this like it's going to be a kids movie.
biodegradable materials as well.
Yeah, biodegradable materials and biodegradable plant-based
Yeah,
quarter pounders or whatever.
yeah, yeah.
There's this YouTuber that I follow that I watch. Uh, I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He's based out of the UK. His name's Big Paulie, and
No.
he does Blu-ray and DVD hunts, and he goes all across and goes from
All right.
like town to town, looking, buying, purchasing physical media, and from time to time he'll stop off and he'll get something to eat. And one of his recent videos, he tried the McDonald's plant based burger, and he's like this is pretty good. And he talked about how it was how if there wasn't if he was hungry and he went to McDonald's and they didn't have any real burgers available, he would eat this plant based burger. And I kind of felt bad for him. I'm like, well,
Yeah,
dude, I don't know what to tell you.
yeah, man.
Big Paulie, I don't know, man. I'm kind of just like, uh, did you compare Dr. Fate to Frylock? Yeah, well, that's probably what we're gonna get. Dr. Fate. The more I think about it now, the more I think Dr. Fate actually kind of looks ridiculous
Yeah, it's
because
such a shame.
he doesn't even really look like they're not even really making the helmet look like Dr. Fate, really.
Such a shame as well because when in his normal form, Pierce Brosnan it was actually the perfect casting.
For real.
So it's
We'll see that
identical,
he might be
identical to the
he might
comics.
be here's the thing, he might be the saving grace of this movie though.
He might be. A lot of people are saying that that's going to be the highlight of the movie for them.
And
And I said that on the channel from the
answer to
start
that.
because big fan of Pierce Brosnan.
I'm hoping he is.
Yeah,
Because to me,
I-
if Dr. Fate is handled seriously and with care in this movie,
yeah,
I really don't care what The Rock does. If they get Dr. Fate right,
yeah,
I'll stand corrected because that's important to me. I love that character, and I just want to see it done justice. And like you said, Pierce Brosnan is perfect casting
oh,
for that
he's
character. So
100%.
hey man,
Yeah, I really liked. Separate from that, I really liked the Doctor Fate arc in Young Justice. I thought that was really good.
oh, I like the Dr. Fate arc in Smallville.
Yeah, yeah, as well. It was that as well. Yeah,
They handled the character very well
yeah,
in that show too. So again, it's not like Dr. Fate can't be done properly. I'm
no,
hoping though that Pierce Brosnan knocks it out of the park and outshines in spite of The Rock being The Rock. And maybe
yeah,
we'll actually get a movie that'll be worth watching more times than the Batman. We can only hope. I don't know because I'm telling you
yeah,
it's for me the
yeah.
Batman has lowered the bar, and so I expect to enjoy Black Adam a little more, but I don't know because again,
It's a yeah.
yeah,
Dark We just don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to say. It's a head scratcher at this point. Again,
Yeah,
that trailer really deflated my hype for the movie.
yeah, yeah,
I feel real sad about that because I've been on the Black Adam train now for a long time. I've been hyped for this movie, and I still want to see it,
yeah,
but I'm just indifferent now. Whereas before I was actually really excited. Now I'm not.
yeah. Yeah, I was kind of 75% hyped, and now I'm less than 50, a lot less than 50%.
Yeah,
Just from that trailer, it's just I don't know. I don't want to be negative, and
right. I'm trying not to be,
disappoint.
but it's
I
hard.
just, but
It's
that
hard because
trailer really, really, really put me
we've been
off.
let down so much. And I guess the
Yeah.
last topic we should talk about, I kind of want to get your feelings on. What do you think about Todd Phillips coming back and doing Joker as a musical?
At first, my first reaction was like, "What the hell?" But then, if you look at the first movie, and Todd Phillips' genius, and Joaquin Phoenix on his own is just he's a masterful actor. The Lady Gaga thing, I'm not heavily into sort of modern day pop music and stuff, so I don't really know. But she done quite well with that film with
Star is
Bradley.
born.
The Star Is Born. Yeah, I couldn't even finish that movie because I'm not really keen on things like that. But it was successful, um, and so was the Joker. Maybe two combined. Maybe it'll make a lot of money, but
I
I don't know whether it's going to be a
my
good movie though.
my view, okay, my view on this is that this is Todd Phillips giving the middle finger to DC.
Yeah,
This is him saying, I never wanted to make a sequel to this movie,
yeah,
but you keep coming to me about making a sequel and keep trying to get me to do one. So now I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it my way, and we're going to
yeah,
make it a musical. So F you. That's what I
yeah,
think it is. And I love the fact that he's doing that. Now I'm not happy about it because I don't want it to be a musical. I think it's
no,
ridiculous, but I also think that it's pretty funny.
yeah,
And I will see it just because I feel like this is Todd Phillips getting back at these
yeah,
people for not supporting him when he did the first Joker, and that movie made $1 billion.
yeah.
So I
It done
mean,
fantastic.
yes, integrity. It has been confirmed that it is a musical. Yes, it is a musical. It's been confirmed.
Yeah,
They're actively trying to get Lady Gaga to play Harley Quinn. It's been confirmed.
yeah. Which is a strange choice, but I think
Well,
probably the only musical that I could give a high rating to is the Blues Brothers. Really,
absolutely. The Blues Brothers is fantastic.
that's got a 10 out of 10
To
for
this
me.
day,
But
it's one of the
musicals in
greatest
general, it's
musicals
just
of
a
all
matter.
time.
It's musicals in general. It's just not my thing. I like Mary Poppins and that when I was a kid, but I don't think I've ever watched them again since.
I'm actually, you know what movie I'm actually hyped up for? The new Baz Luhrmann Australian director movie coming out, Elvis, the Elvis biopic. That actually looks pretty entertaining. It looks like it's going to
Yeah,
be
I've seen some good
interesting.
reviews from
Yeah, it's
sort
getting
of
good.
trusted
It's getting
trusted
good.
people I know on Facebook.
It's getting good
I sort
reviews. So I'm kind of hyped. I'm actually kind of looking forward to it. But again, as far as the Joker being a musical, I don't know. I applaud Todd Phillips though for doing this, for being like, well, if we're gonna do it, I'm doing it my way.
yeah.
And guess what? It's gonna be a musical. It's gonna be. I
Even
mean,
daring to be that bold is
yeah. Here
yeah.
it is. Here it is. Todd Phillips is getting back at WB for him nagging them to make the first movie and them not believing in it or believing in him. Now WB is nagging him to make the sequel, and guess what? He is going to make the sequel, and the sequel is going to be a musical. So good on him.
Yeah.
You know, I'll see it. I'm actually more curious about that than I am about Black Adam at this point, to tell you the
Yeah.
truth. I mean, just based off of what we know of Todd Phillips, I think Todd Phillips will deliver something entertaining, regardless of if it's a musical or not.
Yeah, he will. But the musicals recently, I haven't liked any of them. Can't even get through them really. You know, things like The Greatest Showman and things like that. Just not my thing.
Yeah, I
But
mean, hey, I can totally
but
see that. You know,
I'm not judging the movie before it's come out because I might enjoy it. You know,
you might
it,
enjoy it, and there might be some catchy tunes in
it
there.
could be the next Blues Brothers. You never know.
Yeah. Jingle bells, Batman smells,
So
Robin
yeah, yeah,
later.
yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
might actually have that in the film.
We never know. It could actually be really good and really funny. Do you know what I
And
mean? We
it could
don't
be
know.
like where it like breaks the fourth wall and kind of, I
I
don't
know.
know. It could be awesome if handled correctly, but we'll see. I'll tell you this: I have more faith in Todd Phillips than I do The Rock. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah,
But that's
same,
just
same.
that's just
And
me.
the backlash I've seen from about Todd Phillips's concept for the second film, and not only that, the backlash for his first Joker movie, right? Oh, sort of like I've had my own mental health problems in the past, and I see a lot of film critics trashing Todd Phillips for not representing mental health properly and things like that. But I thought he'd done an excellent job of that. That's coming from someone that's been in and out of hospital their whole life. And I just don't understand that. I think there's a sort of false narrative being pushed about that Joker movie.
Oh yeah,
You
I
know,
thought the Joker was as a character study, it was brilliant.
I thought it
And
was
what
perfect.
I think people need to understand is that it was never meant to be the Joker of comic book lore.
No,
It was
no,
meant
no, it
to be
wasn't.
a completely different thing, and people aren't aren't
Yeah,
aren't seeing it as that, and that's really where all the backlash comes from.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, no.
But I wanna go ahead now and kind of wrap things up.
Yeah,
Savage Bat, I want to thank you very much for being here with me tonight. I had a great time. This hanging out with you, hanging out with another OG makes me happy, man. This is
same
fun.
man. This
This
is
is the way. This is the way it should be. You should always, be able to link up with people that you know were there from the beginning and feel the same way. And I couldn't be happier with the way that this show turned out. You are amazing, man. And can you tell everybody what they can expect coming up?
right. Well, my whole concept of my channel, right, yeah, from the beginning, is to tell the story of the Snyderverse, right? Let's call it the Book of Snyder. That was my concept. Get all the different fans and stuff and OGs of the fandom like yourself on the channel, tell their story from the horse's mouth, right? Yeah, not from some book writer or some biased media site. And I'm going and doing the live streaming, starting live streaming soon, as you know. I've PM'd you about that. And
Yeah, we've
just
got a big event coming up.
yeah, on the 26th of June, the Sunday, that'll be my
Yes,
first live stream. So try
I
and get
can't wait.
as many people in the chat as we can, and there's going to be a few of us, in the stream itself. So
Yes,
hopefully it'll all go well, and yeah, great days ahead really. Just keeping people updated, keeping the Snyderverse, positive, and just showing everyone the truth, not just made up crap by biased media sites and stuff like that. The real, this is the real stuff, you know. And
this is
that's this
definitely
is
real, and we're
yeah,
gonna have one of these days. We're gonna have a whole stream just for you, Sharon, where we all have our shirts off.
that's
It's gonna
definitely yeah,
it's definitely gonna happen one of these days.
yeah.
And wow, all I can say is once again, man, this has been great. I'm really looking forward to that upcoming big stream that you're going to be doing, and I can't wait to be there with you and
Yeah.
so many amazing
I've set
amazing
the
people.
reminder for that on my channel already. So if anyone wants to go on my channel, the Savage Bat, it's in the
Honestly,
description.
if you're not subscribed to the Savage Bat, you need to do so immediately. This
Yeah,
man
and
is
set your reminders for that, and it should be a good show. This will
oh
be my first one, so
oh, it's
yeah.
going to be fantastic. It's going to be
And thank you
fantastic.
so much for having me, Zod. This
Oh
is
man, it was my
this.
pleasure. You are welcome back anytime. And again, dude, this is what it's all about. And I want to thank everybody in the chat for joining
Yeah,
us
thank you.
tonight. It was wonderful. Again, we have the greatest we have the greatest chat family in the world in this community, and I absolutely love it. So good night, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Batman
Peace.
out.
Yes.